What's up, folks? I'm Dwayne,
I'm Alicia.
and this is Blackboard Gaming, where we teach you about all these great board games that are out there.
Waiting to be played by you and yours.
I'm a simple man, don't want a complication. Complication.
Hey, everybody! So, a little bit ago, we did a video where I showed Alicia some games that I would like her to try out. Today, we're going to talk about the first of those games, and that game is called The Spill.
The Spill was designed by Andy Kim and published by Smirk Dagger Games.
Let's go to the table for an overview of how this game is played. The Spill is a cooperative game for 1 to 4 players, where the players are trying to rescue marine life from the catastrophe of an oil spill. As part of setup, we would take the oil rig tower and the game board and place it in the middle of the play area like we got here. Now, the game board is divided into 4 different quadrants, and each quadrant has 6 numbered sectors. Next, we would take the 36 marine life tokens and place them in their designated space out on the game board. Now, there are 6 different types of marine life. We got the pelican, turtle, the stingray, the seahorse, the octopus, and the dolphin. And each of these tokens has a healthy side, and then they have a contaminated side. Next, we're going to choose our win condition. Now, the win conditions, there are 3 different types. There's $1 for, easy difficulty, and then there are $2 and $3, and of course $3 is expert difficulty. We're going to choose the $1, and we're going to shuffle them up randomly, and then we're going to pick 1, and that will be our win condition for this specific game. And then we will take 3 orange cubes and place it next to that win condition card. Next, we would place the situation board next to the game board, and we would take the spill out token and place it on the leftmost green spot of one of these situations track, the spill out tracks rather. And there are 3 different tracks based on the difficulty. There's standard, challenge, and ultimate. Of course, we've got it set on standard for easy difficulty. The situation board is where we will place rescue marine life, as well as oil that we removed from the game board. And the oil is represented by these black dice. There's also a reminder of what happens when the weather dice comes out, which I'll explain in a little bit, as well as a spot if we want to take extra actions on our turn. There are 60 black dice that come in the game. We're going to take 8 of those dice and place them off to the side, and then we're going to take the rest of them and put them in this cloth bag along with these 4 weather die and give it a good shake. Next, the players are going to choose the 4 specialists that they're going to use in this game. And there are 8 specialists to choose from, and each of the specialists has a ship token of their matching their color. Once you choose those 4, you're going to take the other 4 and place them off to the side. Now, it doesn't matter what the player count is, there's always going to be 4 specialists. So if this was a 4-player game, each player is going to get a specialist. If it was a 3-player game, each player is going to get a specialist, and then they're going to share that 4th specialist. 2-player game, each player is going to get 2 specialists, and so on. Once the specialists have been chosen, they're going to get a set of 5 weather tokens, and they're going to place them on their player board like so. Each specialist begins the game with their ship token in a different quadrant than the rest of the specialists. So we're going to choose a quadrant, roll a die, so that's a 5, and so this specialist is going to place his ship there. Then we're going to roll the die for the next specialist. That's a 3. And this specialist is going to place his ship here, and so on. Next, we're going to take these resource cards, shuffle them up, and we're going to pick 2 per specialist, and then each specialist, you choose one card, discard the other one, and you're going to place it beneath the situation board like so. And then we're going to place these orange cubes nearby. The last thing we would do is start the disaster. We would take the 8 dice that we placed off to the side, and then we would drop them into this tower. And then, based on the number, we're going to place them out into that quadrant starting at the top. Now, if there are any duplicates, you would just re-roll them. So now the game can begin. So, of course, we are trying to rescue marine life from an oil spill. And we have one way to win, but there are 3 ways to lose. So the one way to win, and if you remember, we randomly drew this win condition card, and there are 3 conditions on it. And if we meet these 3 conditions, we won the game. So it says save 3 contaminated marine animals, remove a total of 12 oil dice from the game, or save 2 full sets of marine life. Now, at the end of a player's turn, if we've achieved one of these goals, we would take one of those orange cubes that we put off to the side and place it on that spot to show that we pulled that off. Now, there are 3 ways to lose. The first way, of course, marine life is being removed from the game board, and it's either going to the rescued marine life area on the situation board because we did it, we saved them, or it's going to the sick bay, and there are 2 sick bay spots on the board, and they can hold 9 animals each, and they will end up in sick bay because we didn't get to them in time. So if one of each of the 6 marine life types end up in sick bay, we immediately lose. Or if 3 of one particular marine life, so if 3 turtles end up in sick bay, we immediately lose. Now the third way to lose is at the end of a player's turn, if there are 6 of these spill out tokens on the board. And I didn't mention this part as part of setup, so these will be placed off to the side. And I'll show you how we get these spill out tokens in a little bit. So on the player's turn, we will first, do the spill action. So we will take a number of dice based on the track over on the situation board. So there's 3 die, and we would drop them into the tower. Like so. And then we would place them in their spots based on the number of pips on the die. So when dropping dice down the oil rig, wherever the dice lands in a quadrant, you're going to place it in that section of that quadrant based on the number of pips. So you can see this as a 3 pip, it's going to go right here. 5 pip here. And it's going to start in the area that's closest to the oil rig. And as more dice comes down and it has the same number of pips, it's going to start working its way out. So like over here, you got 2 dice with 2 pip. It start working its way out. So let's say, for example, I had dropped this die, it has a 5 pip, and it landed in this quadrant, then it's going to land right here. We're going to place it there. Now, if there's an animal, a healthy animal there, then that animal is going to flip over to its contaminated side, and now that animal is in danger of going to sick bay. And if at the end of the player's turn, the active player's turn, that animal is still sitting there with this dice on it, then it's going to go to sick bay. So we got to get over there to remove that die. And I'm going to show you how to remove dice, from the game board in a little bit. So now let's say we did remove this dice, and then another 5 pip die landed on a contaminated animal. That animal is going to go directly to sick bay. So let's say on a future turn, let's say another 5 pip die comes out in this quadrant. It lands here. Of course, this animal becomes contaminated, but it also, since it's the 3rd die, whenever the 3rd die is in a sector, then a spill out occurs, and we would take the spill out token and place it right there. And then we would move the spill out token over on the situation board one space. So now the only way to get rid of this is we have to remove that die. Once the spill phase is done, then we would go into the action phase, and an active player will use their specialist. Now, on a player's turn, they get 4 action points, and they can use those action points a number of ways, which is listed at the bottom of their specialist card. So, if you see here, you got 1 action point to move up to 2 sectors, 1 action point to rescue a marine animal, 1 action point to push back an oil die, and pushing back means you take that oil die from the game board and place it back into the bag. You spend 2 action points to rescue a contaminated marine animal, and 3 action points to remove an oil die. And you remove an oil die, you place it over on the situation board in that area. So, let's say on his turn, he decides he's going to, first of all, use 1 action point to rescue a marine animal. So he decides to rescue this pelican here and place it in the rescued animal area on the situation board. Then he's going to use 1 action point to move up to 2 spaces. So he moves over here. So he got 2 action points left. He's going to use 1 action point to push back an oil die. So he takes this die here, puts it back in the bag, which removes this spill out token. Then he wants to rescue this guy before he ends up in sick bay, but it costs 2 action points to rescue a contaminated animal. But he has a special ability. Once per turn, you may rescue a healthy marine animal for free or a contaminated marine animal for 1 less AP. So he decides he's going to activate his special ability and rescue this guy for 1 less AP, putting him over in the rescued animal section. So now his turn is over. Now on a player's turn, like I said, they get 4 action points, but they can get extra action points by taking die from the bag and placing it over on the extra action pool over on the situation board. And you place up to 2, and for each one, you get an extra action point. So he could have said, hey, I want to do an extra action. And when he was over here and he rescued that animal, he could have rescued this animal too. You know. But the thing is on the next player's turn, when they roll the dice based on the number on the spill track, they have to add any dice that's in the extra action pool. Another thing that I need to point out, because remember, there's weather die. There's 4 of these in the bag. If ever, when drawing dice during the spill phase, you draw out 1 of these weather die, then you're going to roll it, and then each player is going to receive this. They're going to flip over a token that's on their board based on the side that the dice lands on, and it's something that they cannot do for that turn when it comes their turn. So let's say, okay, so here's the 5-1. This one, you can't use resource cards. This one, you can't use your special ability. We had flipped it here, and then he would not be able to use his special ability. So he would have had to get an extra action point in order to get that guy, that contaminated marine life. This one limits your movement. This one here, it costs an extra action point to rescue animals. This one is a bonus. Gives you an extra action point. I've not experienced that yet. So once the player has used all their action points, then we would check the board to see if there were any contaminated animals that have oil dice on them, and they would immediately go to sick bay, and then we would go back up top to the spill phase. Now, remember, we have these 4 resource cards that we can use during the game. But in order to use them, we have to earn cues to place on them. So like this one, let's look at this one. Rescue a contaminated marine animal in your sector, even if an oil die shares the space. Or a more powerful one, instead, rescue the marine animal and remove the oil die. So that's pretty powerful. But in order to earn the cues to place it on there, in order to use it, there's certain things we have to do. So if you look up here, we move and die, we start down at the bottom. If we remove a third die, we place it in that spot. And you see, we earn an orange cube. Same over here, whenever we rescue a full set of animals, then we get an orange cube. And when you get an orange cube, you will place it on one of these cards. You can place it here, and you don't have to use it now. You can wait till a critical moment, or you can place it here to try to save up, because I like that power right there. Now, let's say we place it here, and we decide to use this card. We use that ability, but now this and the cube is removed, put to the side, and then we would draw a new resource card. At the end of a player's turn, we will also check and see if we've met our win conditions. So early on, we saved 3 contaminated marine animals. 1, 2, 3, so we marked that. And then we saved 2 full sets of marine life. Yes, we have that. So now we just, during this round, we removed our 12th oil dice from the game and placed it on the board. So now we're able to place this cube here. And we've met all our win conditions, and we are the winners of the spill. So the first thing I have to put on the table, we have yet to win this game. So with that said, what do you think about the theme of this game?
Okay, so I love the theme. First of all, it's cooperative.
Right.
But what I love about it is we're saving the world together. And that resonates with me on so many levels. So yes, the theme really spoke to me.
Well, I'm glad, because, we play a good amount of cooperative games. And one of your favorite is Pandemic.
Yes.
Now, of course, being that we just came through a pandemic,
we're still kind of sort of in it. But...
Right. When we want to introduce a cooperative game, if we tell them, hey, you should try Pandemic.
That could be a turnoff to some people.
Yeah. So with the spill, even though it's something that has happened,
yes,
people will be more...
It's more relatable, and people are more willing to give it a try.
Right. Yeah. So I really do like this game.
Yes.
All right. So what did you think about the components?
So I really like that dice tower, the oil derrick that serves as the centerpiece of the game. It really gives the game great table presence.
Yeah, I like that. I like that the dice tower looks like an oil rig, and you're dropping. I love the fact that all the dice are black.
Yes, I love
to represent
that.
the oil.
Yes.
And all that. So
yes.
I really do like the components of this
Yes,
game.
I like the components.
So what do you think about the art?
I enjoy the art of this game. When you look at the board and the picture that it makes, it looks like an oil spill.
Yeah.
So I like the way an oil spill is realistically depicted, and I just like the art. I like the art on the cards. I like the cover art on the box. I love the art of this game.
The art that I like is the specialists.
Yes.
Because they have this, it looks realistic, but it looks like they have this, we got to get this done look on their face.
Yes.
I really
yes.
they're not like all smiling or whatever.
Yes.
Like, hey, we're, they're looking like, okay, we got some stuff to do. We got to take care of business. And I do like that.
Yes.
And it brings you in.
Yes.
All right. So, what do you think about the mechanics?
Well, I like the mechanics. I love the action points because, you have 4 actions and they have different costs. So if you want to do an action and it costs more, you have the option of doing that. And I really like that choice.
I do like that because, in games like Forbidden Island, you only got those action points. That's it, But in this game, you can opt out to get more action points, but there's a cost. You know, you gotta drop more oil dice down that tower. You know.
And what I really love about that is that actually is more thematic, because in real life, so many times you can make a decision, but there's an opportunity cost to that decision.
Yeah.
So I like the way they create that trade off
Yeah.
in the game.
Yeah, I do appreciate that.
Yes,
You know?
yes.
So, what do you think about the teach?
All right. Like so many games that I love,
Yeah.
this is a relatively easy game to learn.
Not easy to win.
But winning is a whole different issue.
Yeah, well, I don't know, maybe we're doing something wrong. I don't know. Because there's some people, they might think this is a real easy game. We just haven't won it yet.
Well, I do think that for the most part, it's pretty easy to pick up. You have certain actions, but they repeat themselves, so it doesn't take long to get the hang of what your moves and what your options are.
Yeah, you know, and I think, like, I like the way the game ramps up. Like, you know, it kind of like starts off and you're like feeling it out, and all of a sudden,
the intensity increases.
Yeah,
yes,
you know.
And as the game progresses, the intensity never lets up. It continues to increase.
Yeah. So, overall, what did you think about the spiel?
Overall, the spiel is a winner for me. I love the theme. I love the cooperative aspect of it. I love the trade-off of you know, you can get more actions, but you have to pay a cost for that. And I love the progressive intensity of the game. So I love everything about this game, and the production is nice too.
Yeah, I'm gonna have to say this game is a lot lighter than what I'm used to, you know. But like I said, when playing it with you, I'm always up for a game of the spill. If you ever say, "Hey, I want to play the spill," I'm like, "Yeah, we can do that," you know. Because I do like the dropping the dice in that dice tower, and you know, like the reaction that happens when you see where that dice lands, and you're like, "Oh man, that animal has become contaminated. We got to get over there and save that animal," you know. So I really do like this game. I think this is a great introductory game.
Yes, I do think that this is a great game to bring new people into the hobby.
Yep. So, if you like the contents of this video, feel free to hit the like button, subscribe.
Follow us on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter.
Well, we could be found there. You know. And like we said, the spill, really enjoyed it. You know, really nice, light game to bring new people into the hobby. I'm Dwayne.
I'm Alicia.
This has been Blackboard Gaming.
We will see you next time.